Welcome to Planet JWoww. I have a course and you're in it because this is where it gets real. I mean, we can talk about all of the theory and languaging and what have you, and everything that I teach, everything that I share is based in what's happening out in the world that I have figured out how to make better. And I'm sharing it so that we can all figure out together how to up-level and evolve how we take care of the world and language our reality. Welcome to From Affirmations to Declarations. So we're about to talk about the level that where you control imagination, you can declare the narrative. Okay? So you've got control of imagination. We did the control of the language and we declared imagination. So now we've got control of the imagination. We've got control of the thing that you can figure out what you're going to live into next, right? That's going to start controlling how we speak about ourselves in relationship to the tribes that we're affiliated with, okay? So that's our narrative. That's our cultural narrative. How are we relating as individuals? How are the tribes in which we find ourselves relating with each other? Is it a divisive relationship where there's damage and all kinds of mess? Is it a simply diversity that's being bridged and people are getting along and learning and there's cross-pollinating from these specialized tribes and that's really cool? Is it some mix of those? These are all things that you can imagine that shape the narrative that you're declaring. So one of the key pieces of that declaration of the narrative is representation. I'm 59 years old. We're making this right now in 2019. I didn't grow up with greeting cards. They were paper greeting cards. Yes, it was back when dinosaurs wore little frilly trousers, and I had to walk uphill in both directions to get to school. And it was before computers. There were no cards with black people on them. In my age group, we all at some point had where our parents had colored us in the Charlie Brown cards with a pencil, just so that there was something darker for us to look at, because there was nothing representing us. So there was nothing for us to dream into. Our imaginations were limited, and therefore, in limiting our imaginations, society was attempting to limit our narrative, and we had parents who were not going to let our narrative get limited. So if they had to make something that would open up our narrative, then they did. That's powerful stuff, folks. Here's where it gets really cool. Everybody can diss Facebook till the cows come home. I have learned more about cool stuff that young black people are doing and old black people did before that I never learned in school on Facebook than I learned in all of my schooling days. All of them. It's like Black History Life, except it's Black humans. It's these wonderful super people who did these amazing things. And it even got documented. It just then didn't get spoken. When you control the language, when you can silence the thing, then it doesn't exist. It has no legacy when it's silenced. That's why it's so important to speak and speak well and speak our truths and to record them and to share them. When I ask you guys to please share what I'm doing, it's because you've told me that what I'm doing matters to you. Then that means to me that it just might matter to your folks. And if your folks get uplifted, then you get uplifted. And when you get uplifted, I get uplifted because I get off on uplifting you. And then you let me know that you got uplifted by me and everybody gets to be happy. I don't understand why we don't do that. Right? It's pretty straightforward. This is how we love on each other. And we get to do that by being inside this imagination that declares a new narrative where there's transparency. Here's an example of how powerful that can be, that's got legacy and roots. So there were folks, Angie Dickinson, this is in the 70s, and the different shows where they were trying to get women to be in these powerful positions, but nobody knew how to do it. And then this chick came along. She was doing commercials, and then she was going to be the love interest of the $6 Million Man, and there was going to be 3 episodes, and then she was going to die. And everybody lost their mind. And they were like sending in all these letters and stuff like that. No, she's got to come back. And so they're like, well, how are we going to do a show? And then when they went back to her, she's like, nope, because I'm not going to do violent stuff. And they're like, oh, we're going to offer you a lot of money. She's like, yep, and no. Right? And she stuck by her guns. She wouldn't, if you go back and look at the Bionic Woman, she would push a tree across the road of the bad guys so they'd get caught. But she wouldn't push it onto the car. Right? She had to do something bionic every 15 minutes. And I know all of this because I got to spend a week with her. Now, all these other shows had what they thought were strong women, and it somehow wasn't taking root. And then she came on, and what she brought was, I will use my strength up to a certain point, and then I will stand in what I will not do. I will find another way. She literally did that. And finally, the upper mucky muck said, we'll do anything. We are getting so many letters, please. And that's how the Bionic Woman got born. And within 2 months, there was a 34% rise in the number of broken bones of girls between the ages of 13 and 19. Because for the first time, they saw a woman doing strong things. And she was beautiful, and she was smart, and she was athletic. And I happen to know that the girl who became the first girl to be on a boys' team, who broke into all the sports stuff that we've got now, because I met her at Burning Man, she did what she did because of the Bionic Woman. Here's where it gets to be fun. I meet her at Burning Man. Lindsay Wagner, when I was crazy, Lindsay Wagner saved my life. In my imagination, Lindsay Wagner was a Bionic Woman who talked to me, and she gave me a narrative that I was going to be okay. That one day I'd be able to say, yeah, I was crazy, and here I'm not. And I can tell you, I can't tell you how many people call me and go, Julie, am I crazy? And I'm like, nope. And they're like, I believe you because you are crazy. And so if you know that I'm not crazy, I'm not crazy. Thank you. Right? Put it to good use. I have a narrative out of the imagination that was given to me by the Bionic Woman that I was going to be okay. And I'm standing here at 59 and I'm okay. And I got to spend a week with her and tell her, and there was no narrative that ever included her wrapping her arms around me and hugging me and going, thank you. I love it when I get to matter. And the two of us just sobbing in each other's arms. See, that happened out of imagination in real life. That's why it's so important. That's why what you put out there in the imagination matters a lot. I hope y'all get that. Okay? All right. So, our next thing, we're going to take narrative, right? And we're going to go into how that shapes culture. As you can see how powerful narrative is, you can get a whole culture thing going. So that's going to be great. So thank you so much for being here on Planet JWoww, here in my course that is from affirmations to declarations. These are 4 steps that bridge you into a reality that you can live into and love. And so I'm going to see you in another video in just a moment. Thank you so much for your time.